$8,400. That's what I pay every month. Rent, $2,800. Electric and gas, $180. Car insurance, $320. Capital One ending in 4471. Minimum payment, $5,100. 4 accounts, 4 auto base. Set up the summer I turned 19, sitting in the floor of a studio apartment in East Nashville with a laptop balanced on the moving box, because my mother called and said she needed help. I did not know yet the word help in her mouth means forever. I didn't miss a single month in 15 years. Not when I was 24 and eating ramen 3 nights a week to cover my own rent. Not when I was 28 and Marcus sat on the edge of the bed and said, Maya, I love you, but you give everything to your mother and there's nothing left. Not for me, not even for you. Not when I was 30 and the loans officer at a bank in the rent booth looked up in my file and said, Your debt to income ratio is unusually high for someone in your bracket. Can you explain the recurring outflows? I smiled. I said I have family obligations. She didn't ask what kind. I did not volunteer. 15 years. 180 months. Every single one on time. Until the Tuesday I asked my mother for a thank you. Not money, not a favor, 2 words. She put her coffee cup down, looked at me across her kitchen table the way you look at a vending machine that asks for exact change. You write the checks, Maya. That's your job. Don't make it weird. I drove home. 20 minutes down I-65 with the radio off. Walked into my apartment. Opened my laptop. 90 seconds later, 4 LPs were cancelled. I closed the laptop. My teeth stood at the window. I am a CPA who investigates financial fraud for a living. I find hidden money, phantom invoice, accounts that should not exist. I find hidden money, phantom invoice, and accounts that should not exist. I follow numbers back to points where they become uncomfortable. For 15 years, I have been afraid to look at my own. The next morning, Jordan Park pulled her chair to my side of the desk and said 4 words. Start from the beginning. Jordan's is the only person at our firm who knows about the payments. She had known for 3 years. Ever since she noticed that a senior fraud investigator brings lunch from home every day and never orders from the coffee cart. She asked. I told her. She went wired for exactly the amount of time it takes to decide between the kind thing and the honest thing. Then said both. We started with month 1. It took 3 nights to find what I had spent 15 years not looking for. Night 1. A Venmo transfer. $1,800. Recipients. C. Reeves. Caleb. My brother. Recurring. Starting in month 28. Night 2. $600 in monthly ATM withdrawals from the machine on Calais Avenue, 2 blocks from Calais Stream. Judges on my mother's Capital One as Bed Buy, a Jordan Friend outlet, a steakhouse in Midtown, all places Caleb checks into. A 5-day trip to Las Vegas, $6,200. Flights, hotel, the Bellagio, booked on Diane's card. Time to the weekend. Caleb posted a photo with the caption, Needed this reset. Night 3. The math. Monthly Venmo to Caleb, $1,800. Monthly costs near his gym, $600. Monthly charges matching his style, $1,500. Total redirect, roughly $3,900 out of $8,400. Jordan Guada, then, your mother didn't just take the money, Maya. She built a funnel, you on one end and Caleb on the other, and she controlled the realm. The number does not leave room for argument. My father does not abandon us. That is the reason my mother told. The ones he delivers in every kitchen, as every volume for 20 years. Your father walked down. I stayed. The least you can do is help. The reason I actually live were different. Every month, at a booth in the back of Lula's Diner in Franklin, Tennessee, near the Pies case. Frank Fries were already seated when I arrived. Coffee, black. Menu closed. I told my mother we're going to the library. She never checked. I told my mother I were going to the library. She never checked. I was trailed the first time. He laid a bank statement across the table. Find the mistake. I found an ATM fee at the wrong bank. Now find the real one. Line 31. I charged label miscellaneous. He tapped it with a careless finger. 30 years of pulling wire through walls. When somebody writes miscellaneous, there's hoping you won't ask. Your job is to ask. He taught me compound interest at 14. He helped me open his first saving account at 17. He was in the Section C row 8 at my college graduation. My mother was in the front row. She never saw him. When I was 27, I told him about the $8,400 a month. He looked down at the Harvest River and watches the way he watches things he cannot fix. You know what I charge to rewire a commercial kitchen? About $3,500. 3 weeks of work. He paused. When you're ready to stop, you stop. That's not my call to make. He never told me what to do. He gave me the tools and trusted me to use them. Diane did not sit quietly when the mortgage bounced. Within 48 hours, Aunt Patricia, Uncle Dennis, a neighbor named Karen I have spoken to twice in my life, a woman named Sandra from Mother's Church Group, 4 calls, 1 straight. Your father left and your mother stayed. Then cut off cone. His voice was careful, the way it gets when he's trying to sound casual about something that's not casual at all. Hey, so, Mom's dressing. What's going on with the pigments? I listened to the music underneath the words. Caleb was not calling because he was worried about his mother. Caleb was not calling because he was worried about our mother. He was calling because the rainbow hadn't come through, and he could feel the floor steady beneath him. Asked Mom where the $1,800 a month was coming from Caleb. Asked her about Vegas. That's call me back. I hung up. Opened my laptop, read the 6 pages, color coded, blue for legitimate expenses, red for money redirected to Caleb, yellow for charges nobody could explain, miscellaneous, the ones I was no longer willing to ignore. Sunday, 6 o'clock, in Diane's house in Nashville. The table was set for 5. Crossroads in the center, rosemary and performance. Because my mother has never cooked for fewer than 3 witnesses. And Patricia's by the kitchen, holding a glass of wine like a life preserver. Uncle Dennis studying the tablecloth. Caleb at the far end, phone face down, which means he was nervous. My mother stood at the head of the table. She has rehearsed her opening line. She had rehearsed her opening line. I raised you too long. I sacrificed everything. And now one of my children has decided I don't deserve anything. And now one of my children has decided I don't deserve half anymore. I sat down, put the photo on the table, opened it. What is that? She said. Numbers. I didn't raise my voice. I lowered it the way I do in the depositions when I need the room to lean in. Call me the $8,400 I send every month. Call me where it went after I arrived in her account. I worked through the Venmo transfer, the ATM withdrawals on Caleb Avenue, the Capital One churches at the store Caleb frequented, the Vegas trip 5-day with $6,200 booked on her card. And Patricia set down her wine. Caleb's face went pale, not the pale of embarrassment, the pale of someone watching the floor of the song, time by time, and realizing there's nothing underneath. Mom said she has savings, he said. His voice was small. She has Social Security and Autopay. That's all she has. My mother's hand came down on the table, not hard enough to rattle the dishes, but hard enough to remind everyone she was still standing. Everything I did for this family. Everything I paid was for this family, I said. What you did was redirected. You built a pipeline, Mom. Me on the one end, Caleb on the other, and you in the middle, deciding where my money went without my knowledge or consent. She reached for the only weapon she had left, the one she has been sharpening for 20 years. Your father worked out, Maya. I stayed. I raised you too long, and this is how you repaid me? Caleb looked at me with wet eyes. You're just like that. You always leave. I looked at my brother, then at my mother. He didn't leave first, Caleb. He left her. The room stopped. I know because I've been having breakfast with Dad every month for 15 years, put in the bag near the pie case. He taught me how to read a bank statement when I would tell. He was at my college graduation, Section B, row 8. You in the front row, Mom. You never saw him. Diane's face changed, not slowly, all at once. I stood up, put in my chair, picked up my bag. The porch light was still on when I stepped outside. The air was cold and clean, the way Nashville gets in the early spring when the rain has moved east and the sky opens up with long enough to remind you that it was always there. I got in the car, drove home with the windows down. The house went into foreclosure in the 4th month. Diane moved into a one-bedroom in Murfreesboro. I didn't have her move.
I didn't know, Maya.
Caleb called once. No apology, no excuses. Just, I didn't know, Maya. I believe you. And I did. He will fly to the shores the same way it will fly to destination. Our mother has positioned herself in the middle, counting on neither of us to look past her. When you're ready to talk about what happened, not what you need, call me. Okay, he said. He hasn't called yet, but okay is a different word than goodbye. I sent my mother one email. The 15 years receipt attacked. 2 sentences. This is not a bill. This is a receipt. So you know exactly what was spent and on whom. On the 3rd Saturday of the following month, I froze out on I-65 to Franklin. Luther's Diner. My father has already in the last booth. Coffee black, menus lost. I read a number that, I know, took you a while. Am I okay? Not yet, but the numbers are clean. But the numbers are clean. He nodded. That was enough. In our language, clean numbers is the closest thing to in our language. Clean numbers is the closest thing to you going to be alright. The server came.
I looked at the menu.
My father ordered pancakes, the ways he always does, the ones he used to make on Saturday mornings before he left, before the kitchen became somewhere he was no longer allowed. I looked at the menu. For 4 years, I had ordered the cheapest thing. Grilled cheese, a habit built from years of bleeding $1,400 a month, of putting the pigment first and my own life somewhere after. I looked up. Actually, I have the turkey club. My father looked up from his coffee, once bright eyebrows, a smile that didn't need to be wide because it was deep. You gonna eat that bacon? Every single piece. We sat in a loud booth of Lula diners on the third Saturday of the month. We ate breakfast for the way we have eaten breakfast for 15 years. Quietly, completely, without needing to explain why we were there. We just saw up. That's what the whole thing. That's what always the entire job. Here's what nobody tells you about being the one who pays. You stop asking questions because the answers must cost more than the money ever did. You tell yourself that love and sacrifice are the same thing, and by the time you realize they are not, the bills have been running for years, and the only person who never got paid is you. If you are the one holding your family together financially, do one thing this week. Look at your own numbers. Not to accuse anyone, just to see. Because the moment you stop being afraid of what the spreadsheet says, is the moment you stop being controlled by it. And if someone in your life has been sitting quietly in the background, showing up, showing up for you without asking for it, without demanding a thank you, tell them you see them before another Saturday passes. The number will always clean. The only thing missing was the courage to look.